Guys, the Super Review Show for another episode of Why You Should Listen To. This is the show where I break down artists on Spotify that have low Spotify streaming numbers, or they're just that good. You should definitely check them out no matter what. And here we are today talking about John Mellencamp. John Mellencamp is one of those artists. He's kind of like he's one of the Heartland rock kind of guys. He's kind of like Bruce Springsteen to an extent, or Tom Petty. He fits in that genre of classic rock. But I wanted to touch on him today because, first off, John Mellencamp has had plenty of hits throughout the 80s, but he doesn't really tour that much until as of lately. And I'll get to that in a second. But basically, here's the lowdown. John Mellencamp is a very, very respected artist in the classic rock community. He is a big fan of making music compared to touring on music. What I mean by that is he's a big fan of just putting out music in general, not touring. That's why he's put out so many albums. He's put out an album, I think, in 2022, I think it was. We talked about it on our Mixed Bag show. New albums by older artists were back in like June of 22 or July of 2022. I think it was that. We had that time and we did it then. But yeah, it's basically he put out an album called Strictly One-Eyed Jack recently, which had Bruce Springsteen on a couple of tracks because the two of them are good friends. The two of them are really good friends. He's a big advocate for Farm Aid as well in the Midwest of the United States. For those of you who are outside of the U.S., viewers of us, you might not know where that is. But it's a benefit like farmers and help out agricultural purposes here in the U.S. But John Mellencamp, I like a lot of his music. Pink House is an example of a great song. Rockin' the USA is a great song. Authority song. Obviously, Jack and Diane gets a ton of hits because it was a number one hit, of course. What's the other one I can't think of? Hurt So Good. That's a great song. But his newer stuff is very good too. I liked a lot of his stuff off his not Wasted Days. Strictly One-Eyed Jack was a great song. Like, Did You Say Such a Thing? Wasted Days, both featuring Bruce Springsteen, of course. But John Mellencamp, it's funny. I'm not getting into any of his political stuff. He's been very advocate as of lately about the current affairs and stuff going on in the U.S. He's an advocate for certain things, but I make sure my show is apolitical as possible. We don't talk politics here on the Super Show. I made a very strong statement to anyone who comes onto our podcast or our show that we don't talk politics. But John Mellencamp is a very political person. I'm not going to get into it, why or which side or whatever. But he's an advocate for certain things that he believes in, and I see his reasoning. I have my own opinion of certain things, and that's that. I don't get into like the whole debacle of like, well, why should a musician? No, I don't get it. I refuse to get into that. I was hesitant to make this video about him, truthfully, but I like his music. I'm a big fan of his music. Pink House is another one. Rockin' the USA. The John Mellencamp, not the first debut, his album with Her So Good and Jack and Diane on there. He's a very good artist in general. Not all of his albums were great. His output in like the 90s was kind of like limited because in the 80s he was big, but in the 90s he kind of like faded off because of grunge and alternative rock took over kind of thing, and that was that. But I have to say though, he really did. If you're looking for an artist with more of like a Tom Petty feel or not a Billy Joel feel, like if you're looking for a different artist to have like kind of like almost like a country vibe to an extent, but not a honky tonk country vibe or like a modern country. Like if you think back to the 80s and you look at a lot of his stuff like Pink Houses and you look at stuff like, as I said, Rockin' the USA or the Authority song or stuff like that, it's what's called Heartland rock. Tom Petty was a big advocate of that stuff. Bruce Springsteen obviously is one of them too. But John Mellencamp, he's got a lot of, outside of the songs I mentioned, I'm drawing a blank on some of his other material, truthfully. But he's got a lot of really good songs, too. And like I said, his most recent record that he's touring on, I'll get to that in a second, too. His most recent record that he's been touring on, Strictly One-Eyed Jack, has a lot of really good songs on there, too. Yes, they're featuring Bruce Springsteen, of course, but at the same time, they're just really good songs to listen to. Just nothing too crazy, nothing too rockin'. Nothing too slow, but just good quality rock music. And he's been touring this year. He toured last year and he's touring this year too. But not like Madison, not like arenas or stadiums. But he's been touring like smaller theaters, kind of like for those of you who know the New York City area well enough, he toured the Beacon Theater for like 5 nights there. He toured a couple other places like that, like just smaller theaters, kind of like not the Forum in LA, but like I don't know any LA event because I live in New York. I don't really know California areas, but he'll tour theaters and stuff like that more than an arena type of thing, which I'm totally get. I would like to see him live at one point. I have not seen him live, But or like performing arts centers, he'll do stuff like that. He's not going to tour like a big arena thing at all, really. But it's funny, like he's just where's it going with this? He's a true artist at the same time. He likes to put out albums compared to touring. A lot of people are like that. We're like, not everyone's like that. Like Stevie Nicks is like, she likes to tour because it's more lucrative. She gets more money from that. So for putting on a show, she can go and make money off of that. Whereas that's why Billy Joel did it for so long now. He just toured, and he made a lot of money that way. Where he didn't put out any albums until like that new single that just came out recently. But John Mellencamp is a very advocate of like he doesn't like to tour. He just likes to put out music, and that's how he interprets himself. It doesn't matter the chart size. He just says, I'm going to put it out there. He's kind of like Bryan Adams to an extent too. Bryan Adams will put out music, and he'll be like, all right, it's going to chart in the US, in the UK or Canada, England, whatever, right, and or Europe, whatever. Big fan base over there for him too. But like, doesn't care how high it charts. It just he wants to put out good quality music, and that's why like his Bryan Adams' most recent record, "So Happy It Hurts," was very good too. That's a good record too. Actually, check that one out. But yeah, like I said, John Mellencamp. What do you think? Have you heard John Mellencamp's music? Have you at least seen what he does? Have you seen him live recently too? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on him. That's why I think you should listen to John Mellencamp. Just a Heartland rock artist. He's got some really good songs from the 80s and into the late 80s too. Fantastic artist. Just a really, I would say timeless, but he does put out a lot of really good music too, as of late too, the past couple of years. Past maybe past several decades, because he, like I said, he just keeps putting out new music. So that's just what I think. That's why I think you should listen to John Mellencamp. But for all of you why you should listen to videos, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and subscribe to our channel as well. Thanks so much for watching. So for all of us here at the Super Review Show, and we'll see you guys later. Stay safe, take care, and rock on.